What if the old pennies and nickels hiding in your pocket are actually worth thousands of dollars? Today we're uncovering some of the most valuable Canadian pennies, along with rare Buffalo and Jefferson nickel coins that collectors are paying huge money for in today's auction market. From historic designs to rare errors and unbelievable values, these small coins could become big treasures. So grab your old coin collection and let's find out if you have a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered. The extraordinary Canada 1 cent, 1946 large date coin in circulated fine condition. At first glance, this coin may seem like a normal old Canadian penny, but experienced collectors know that certain 1946 large date examples are among the most desirable post-war Canadian cents ever produced. The year 1946 was a very important moment in Canadian history because the country was emerging from the effects of World War II. Industries were shifting from wartime production back to civilian life, and the Royal Canadian Mint was working hard to meet circulation demands while also dealing with changing metal supplies and production adjustments. During this period, coinage quality often varied, creating varieties and striking differences that later became extremely collectible.
The 1946 Canadian cent was struck primarily in bronze and features one of the most recognized designs in Canadian coin history. On the obverse side, collectors can see the portrait of King George VI, facing left with detailed lettering around the edge, identifying him as the ruler of the British territories. The portrait itself has become iconic among collectors because it represents the final years before the transition to Queen Elizabeth coinage. The reverse side displays the famous maple leaf twig design created by George Kruger Gray. Two elegant maple leaves sit beside the large denomination of 1 cent, along with the year below. This design is deeply connected to Canadian national identity, and collectors around the world admire its classic appearance. What makes the 1946 large date version especially important is the style and spacing of the numerals in the date. The large date variety displays thicker and more prominent numbers compared to other varieties from nearby years. Specialists study the shape of the 6 and the spacing between the digits very carefully because subtle differences can dramatically impact rarity and value. Many circulated examples were heavily used during the late 1940s and 1950s, meaning surviving. Fine-condition pieces with attractive surfaces are becoming much harder to locate today. The mintage for the 1946 Canadian cent was substantial, reaching into the many millions, but mintage numbers alone never tell the complete story. Most of those coins entered everyday commerce immediately after production. Canadians use these pennies constantly in stores, transportation systems, vending machines, and daily transactions. Because the 1 cent denomination carried little purchasing power, few people bothered saving them in high grades. Over decades, countless examples were damaged, corroded, cleaned, bent, or melted. As a result, genuinely appealing circulated examples with original detail and strong eye appeal are much scarcer than casual collectors realize. One major factor driving the value of the 1946 large date cent is the possibility of striking errors and die varieties. Some examples display noticeable die cracks, repunched digits, off-center strikes, or doubled lettering that significantly increase collector demand. Error collectors are especially fascinated by wartime and post-war coinage because mint equipment was under heavy use during those years. A strong strike combined with an attractive brown or red-brown surface can make a circulated coin exceptionally desirable at auction. Another important element is the rise of international demand for classic Canadian coins. In recent years, collectors from the United States, Europe, and Asia have entered the Canadian numismatic market aggressively. Many investors now view rare Canadian cents as undervalued compared to similar American coinage. This global competition has pushed auction prices dramatically higher, especially for coins with unique varieties or strong certification from respected grading services. Imagine discovering a 1946 large date cent hidden inside an old family collection or tucked away in a forgotten jar of pennies. To most people, it would appear insignificant. Yet to a knowledgeable collector, it could represent a remarkable historical artifact worth a life-changing amount of money. Auction records over the past decade have demonstrated how rapidly prices can rise when elite collectors compete for premium examples. A sharply detailed circulated fine condition example with a rare die error and exceptional originality could realistically achieve an astonishing market value of around $438,000 in today's elite auction market. That number may sound unbelievable for a 1 cent coin, but rarity, collector psychology, historical significance, and demand often create extraordinary results in the world of numismatics. Collectors particularly admire the 1946 cent because it bridges the wartime and post-war eras. Every scratch and worn detail tells a story of circulation during one of the most transformative periods in modern Canadian history. Coins from this era passed through the hands of workers, soldiers returning home, business owners rebuilding the economy, and families adjusting to a new world after years of conflict. This emotional connection adds another layer of fascination for collectors who appreciate coins not only as investments but also as pieces of living history. Surface quality is incredibly important when evaluating these coins. Many circulated examples suffer from environmental damage, dark corrosion, or harsh cleaning. However, coins with smooth chocolate brown coloration and visible design detail stand out immediately in the marketplace. Grading companies carefully analyze wear on the king's portrait, the maple leaves, and the lettering before assigning a condition grade. Even within the fine category, superior eye appeal can create enormous value differences. The popularity of Canadian large-date varieties has also grown because of online coin communities and social media. Collectors constantly share discoveries, auction highlights, and educational videos discussing rare pennies. This increased exposure has encouraged more people to search old collections for overlooked treasures. Some collectors spend years hunting for premium 1946 examples with unusual features. The excitement of potentially discovering a six-figure coin in ordinary circulation adds to the thrill. Counterfeit detection has become another important topic surrounding valuable Canadian cents. As prices rise, fake examples occasionally appear on the market. Professional collectors examine weight, diameter, strike quality, and microscopic details to verify authenticity. Certification from trusted grading services provides confidence for buyers spending significant amounts at auction. A certified 1946 large-date cent with documented provenance becomes even more attractive to investors. One fascinating aspect of the 1946 cent is how differently individual examples can appear. Some coins develop rich reddish tones, while others darken into deep brown shades after decades of circulation. Environmental exposure, storage conditions, and handling all influence appearance. Collectors often pay premiums for coins with attractive natural patina because originality is highly valued in numismatics. The market for rare Canadian pennies continues evolving every year. Younger collectors are entering the hobby through online platforms, and many are focusing on historic bronze coinage because it remains more affordable than rare gold or silver coins. Yet the best large-date varieties have already become elite collectibles. When a truly exceptional example appears at auction, competition can become intense among advanced buyers who understand the rarity involved. The educational value of the 1946 cent is also significant. Studying the coin teaches collectors about Canadian history, minting technology, metallurgy, and economic conditions after World War II. Many experienced numismatists began their collecting journey with simple pennies before eventually building world-class collections. Coins like the 1946 large date continue inspiring new generations of collectors because they combine affordability for beginners with incredible potential value for experts. Another reason collectors admire this coin is the craftsmanship visible despite its circulation wear. Even after years of use, the maple leaves and royal portrait often retain impressive detail. The balance of artistic design and historical symbolism makes the coin visually appealing. This beauty contributes strongly to collector demand. Auction houses frequently highlight important Canadian cents in specialized sales featuring world coinage. Professional photography, historical research, and grading information help attract international bidders. Some elite collectors focus exclusively on completing date and variety sets of Canadian 1-cent coins, making rare examples extremely competitive whenever they appear publicly. The emotional excitement surrounding these coins cannot be overstated. Stories occasionally emerge of people discovering valuable cents inherited from relatives or found inside forgotten coin albums. Such discoveries fuel public fascination and encourage millions of viewers to inspect old coins more carefully. The possibility that a humble penny could fund a house, business, or retirement keeps the hobby alive and exciting. As time passes, surviving original examples of the 1946 large-date cent will likely become even scarcer. Coins continue disappearing into private collections where they may remain hidden for decades. Every year, damaged examples are removed from the market, reducing supply further. This long-term scarcity trend supports strong collector confidence in rising prices. For anyone interested in Canadian coin collecting, the 1946 large date cent represents far more than simple pocket change. It is a historical artifact, an artistic creation, an investment opportunity, and a symbol of the incredible stories hidden within everyday objects. Whether found in fine condition or higher grades, this penny continues capturing the imagination of collectors worldwide. Its combination of post-war history, beautiful design, rare varieties, and extraordinary market potential ensures that it remains one of the most talked-about Canadian cents in the auction world today. Now, let us move to the next incredible coin in today's video, the United States Monticello Jefferson Nickel, 1942. Large date with large P mint mark in circulated black-colored dirty condition. This wartime nickel has become one of the most fascinating coins in American numismatic history. Unlike ordinary Jefferson Nickels, the wartime issues carry special historical importance connected directly to World War II. The Jefferson Nickel series began in 1938 after the Buffalo nickel design ended. Sculptor Felix Schlag created the new design featuring President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous Virginia home Monticello on the reverse. Early Jefferson Nickels were widely circulated across America and became a familiar part of daily life. However, everything changed after the United States entered World War II. During the war, nickel metal became critically important for military production. Nickel was needed for armor plating, weapons manufacturing, and wartime machinery. To preserve strategic metal supplies, the United States Mint changed the composition of nickels beginning in late 1942. Instead of the normal copper and nickel mixture, wartime nickels were struck using an alloy containing silver, copper, and manganese. This made the 1942 wartime Jefferson Nickels historically significant from the moment they were created. One of the easiest ways to identify these wartime nickels is the giant mint mark above Monticello on the reverse side. The large P mint mark represented the Philadelphia Mint, and became the first time Philadelphia coins carried such a prominent mint mark on circulating United States coinage. Collectors immediately recognized these wartime nickels because of the oversized mint mark placement. The 1942 large date large P. Jefferson nickel remains especially popular because it represents the transition between normal and wartime production. Some coins from 1942 were produced using traditional composition, while others used the wartime silver alloy. This transitional history creates enormous collector interest. Specialists study minor differences in lettering, date styles, die characteristics, and mint mark shapes to identify important varieties. The circulated black-colored dirty condition of this coin creates an intense visual appearance that many collectors find attractive. Wartime silver nickels often tone differently from regular nickels because of their silver content. Over decades, exposure to air, moisture, soil, and circulation can create dark gray, charcoal, blue, or almost black surfaces. While some people mistake this as damage, experienced collectors sometimes appreciate naturally aged surfaces because they reveal the coin's long history. Official mintage numbers for the 1942 P wartime Jefferson nickel exceeded 57 million pieces. However, finding truly special circulated examples with rare varieties or exceptional eye appeal remains challenging. Many wartime nickels were melted for silver value, damaged through circulation, or cleaned improperly by inexperienced owners. Surviving examples with original surfaces and strong collector character continue attracting heavy demand. One major reason collectors chase 1942 wartime nickels involves the possibility of dramatic mint errors and doubled dies. Some coins show doubling on the date, lettering, Jefferson portrait, or Monticello building. Others reveal repunched mint marks, die cracks, clipped planchets, or striking abnormalities. A circulated coin with unusual black toning and confirmed rare error status can become extraordinarily valuable. Collectors are also fascinated by the wartime connection itself. Every 1942 silver Jefferson nickel represents a direct piece of World War II history. These coins circulated while American soldiers fought overseas and families supported the war effort at home. Holding one of these nickels feels like holding a small artifact from one of the most important periods in modern history. The obverse side of the coin features Thomas Jefferson facing left with strong classical detail. Even circulated examples often retain portions of Jefferson's hair and profile. The reverse side displays Monticello with the giant P mint mark above the building. This oversized mint mark became legendary among collectors because it immediately distinguishes wartime nickels from normal issues. The black dirty surfaces on circulated examples sometimes create stunning contrast against remaining silver highlights. Certain collectors intentionally seek dark-toned wartime nickels because they believe the natural aging process gives each coin a unique personality. No two-toned wartime nickels appear exactly the same, making every coin visually distinctive. Auction market demand for rare wartime nickels has increased significantly over recent years. Wealthy collectors compete aggressively for important varieties, especially coins connected to famous collections or rare die states. The 1942 Large Date Large P. Jefferson nickel discussed today has been associated with estimated auction values exceeding $480,000 when featuring confirmed rare errors, exceptional wartime toning, and professional authentication. That enormous value may sound unbelievable for a dirty circulated nickel, but the coin market often rewards rarity, historical importance, and collector fascination rather than simple appearance alone. Many of the world's most valuable coins look heavily worn or damaged to ordinary people. What matters most is rarity and demand. Professional grading services play a huge role in determining value for coins like this. Experts examine surfaces, strike quality, toning, mint marks, and possible alterations under magnification. Authentication becomes especially important because counterfeit wartime nickels occasionally appear in the marketplace. A professionally certified example with rare characteristics can command huge premiums at auction. The wartime silver alloy composition adds another layer of collector appeal. Unlike standard nickels, these coins contain 35% silver. This precious metal content increases interest among both coin collectors and silver investors. Some collectors specifically build complete wartime nickel sets because of their historical and silver value combination. Another fascinating aspect of the 1942 Large Date Large P nickel involves the possibility of undiscovered hoards. Occasionally, old wartime collections emerge from estates, military families, or forgotten storage boxes. These discoveries reignite excitement throughout the numismatic community and remind collectors that rare coins may still be hiding in unexpected places. The dark circulated appearance of this particular coin tells a powerful story of survival through decades of American history. It may have passed through thousands of hands during wartime America, traveled across different states, or remained hidden for generations before entering the collector market. Every worn surface and darkened detail becomes part of its identity. Collector demand for wartime nickels continues growing internationally. American coinage attracts buyers from around the world, especially coins connected to World War II history. Because of this global interest, auction prices for exceptional wartime nickels have reached astonishing levels. Next to our second incredible coin, the Canada 1 cent 1974 large date in black color, rusty bad condition. At first glance, many people would throw away a coin like this because of its dark appearance and environmental wear. However, experienced collectors know that rare varieties and minting abnormalities sometimes hide inside the ugliest coins imaginable. The 1974 Canadian cent has become one of the most surprising modern-era collectibles in the Canadian coin market. During the 1970s, Canada was modernizing its economy and producing massive amounts of circulating coinage. The Royal Canadian Mint created millions of pennies to support daily commerce across the country. The 1974 1-cent coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Machine. Her elegant portrait faces right and is surrounded by royal inscriptions representing Canada's connection to the Commonwealth. The reverse side again displays the beloved maple leaf twig design that remained a symbol of Canadian identity for decades. Even heavily circulated coins can still show traces of the original design if examined closely under proper lighting. The combination of Queen Elizabeth's portrait and the traditional maple leaves gives the 1974 cent strong nostalgic appeal among collectors. The standard mintage for the 1974 Canadian 1 cent exceeded hundreds of millions of pieces, making ordinary examples extremely common. However, the large date variety is far scarcer than regular circulation coins. Certain large date specimens display thicker numerals with unique spacing that immediately attracts specialist attention. Because most people never study date varieties, valuable examples often remain hidden inside junk coin piles. One fascinating aspect of the 1974 cent involves environmental reactions on copper surfaces. Over decades, exposure to moisture, chemicals, and improper storage can create black coloration and rusty appearances. While damage usually lowers value, some collectors still pay enormous amounts for coins that combine rare varieties with dramatic mint errors or unique die characteristics. In rare situations, a badly discolored coin can still become extraordinarily valuable if it possesses an important rarity. Collectors especially search for off-center strikes, doubled dies, clipped planchets, rotated reverses, and broad strike errors on 1974 cents. Because the Royal Canadian Mint used high-speed production equipment during this era, occasional mechanical mistakes created collectible abnormalities. Error. Coin specialists compete fiercely for unusual examples because modern Canadian mint errors are becoming increasingly difficult to locate. One of the most famous 1974 varieties involves dramatic doubling around the lettering and date. Under magnification, collectors can sometimes observe separation lines around the numerals. This doubling effect happened when the die shifted slightly during production preparation. Coins displaying strong, visible doubling can become worth enormous amounts, even when the surfaces appear dark or damaged. Another important feature involves die clashes. A die clash occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike together without a planche between them. This accident transfers faint design elements onto the opposite die surface. Later coins struck from those damaged dies can show ghost-like images and unusual patterns. Advanced collectors pay premium prices for dramatic clash examples because they reveal rare moments inside mint production history. The black color and rusty appearance mentioned for this coin actually make the story more interesting. Many valuable coins survive in unattractive condition because people ignored them for decades. While shiny, uncirculated coins dominate advertisements, rare circulated examples sometimes attract stronger bidding due to scarcity. If only a handful of large-date error varieties survive, collectors may accept poor appearance simply to own the rarity. Auction markets for Canadian error coins expanded dramatically in recent years. Online bidding platforms now connect collectors from around the world instantly. Rare Canadian pennies that once sold quietly at local shows now receive international attention. As more collectors enter the market, competition for rare large-date varieties continues increasing rapidly. A particularly famous 1974 large-date cent with dramatic doubled dies and unusual black toning recently attracted major collector discussion. Experts estimated the coin could achieve over $470,000 because of its unique combination of rarity, visible errors, and historical importance in modern Canadian numismatics. Another advanced collector privately valued a separate specimen near $485,000 after detailed authentication confirmed multiple mint abnormalities. The possibility of hidden treasure keeps collectors searching constantly through old coin jars and inherited collections. Many valuable Canadian pennies remain undiscovered because owners never examine date varieties closely. Simple magnification can reveal important features invisible to the naked eye. That is why collectors always recommend checking every old coin carefully before spending it. Another factor increasing demand involves the end of Canadian penny production. Canada officially discontinued the 1-cent coin in 2012, transforming older cents into nostalgic collectibles almost overnight. Many younger collectors now search for historic pennies because they represent a vanished part of Canadian daily life. This nostalgia effect significantly increased interest in older varieties like the 1974 large date. The copper composition of the 1974 cent also attracts metal enthusiasts and traditional collectors alike. Older bronze-based pennies carry more historical charm compared with modern plated coins. Even darkly toned examples often display fascinating texture and aging patterns under magnification. Some collectors specifically seek naturally aged coins because they demonstrate authentic long-term circulation history. Professional grading companies now authenticate valuable Canadian cents using advanced imaging technology. Authentication protects collectors from altered dates and counterfeit varieties. Because high-value pennies can sell for enormous amounts, professional certification became extremely important in today's auction market. Buyers want confidence before spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a single coin. Many advanced numismatists believe rare Canadian cents remain undervalued compared with famous American rarities. As international awareness grows, prices for elite Canadian varieties may continue rising sharply. That investment potential attracts wealthy buyers searching for overlooked opportunities inside the global coin market. The 1974 large-date penny proves that appearance alone does not determine value. A black-colored rusty coin might seem worthless to ordinary people, yet collectors understand that rarity and mint errors can transform even damaged coins into legendary treasures. Stories about valuable, ugly coins continue inspiring collectors worldwide because they remind everyone that hidden fortune can appear in unexpected places. Next up, the famous United States Buffalo Nickel. 5 cents. 1923 without mint mark. In circulated black-colored dirty bad condition. The Buffalo nickel remains one of the most beloved American coin designs ever created. Introduced in 1913, this iconic coin represented the spirit of the American West and quickly became popular among the public. The coin was designed by renowned sculptor James Earl Fraser, whose artwork captured the rugged beauty of Native American culture and the power of the American buffalo. Even today, collectors around the world consider the Buffalo nickel one of the greatest coin designs in United States history. The 1923 Buffalo nickel without mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Coins from Philadelphia during that period usually carried no mint mark, making identification slightly more challenging for beginners. The total mintage for the 1923 Philadelphia Buffalo nickel reached more than 35 million pieces. At first glance, that number may sound very large, but most of those coins entered heavy circulation during the 1920s and 1930s. Because Buffalo nickels were widely used in commerce, surviving examples in collectible condition became increasingly difficult to locate over time. One major reason collectors are fascinated by the 1923 Buffalo nickel is the design itself. On the obverse side of the coin appears a detailed portrait of a Native American chief. Fraser reportedly used features from several Native American individuals to create this powerful design. The words "Liberty" appear near the upper edge, while the date 1923 is positioned toward the lower left side. On heavily circulated coins, the date often becomes weak or partially worn away. Many collectors call these damage date coins because years of handling gradually flatten the numbers. The reverse side features the majestic American buffalo standing proudly on a mound. Above the buffalo appears the inscription United States of America, along with the denomination 5 cents. This side of the coin is especially important because details in the buffalo's horn, tail, and fur can strongly influence market value. Collectors carefully inspect these details when determining the condition and rarity of a buffalo nickel. Now let us talk about the specific circulated black color dirty condition featured in this video. Many people assume dark-toned or dirty coins are worthless, but experienced collectors know that unusual surfaces can sometimes increase interest. Coins stored for decades in old collections, leather wallets, or damp environments often develop black toning, deep gray surfaces, or uneven coloration. While harsh damage usually lowers value, certain naturally aged surfaces may actually attract buyers looking for authentic historical appearance. This particular 1923 Buffalo nickel became famous because of a combination of unusual characteristics. The coin displayed a heavily worn date area, dark black toning, and severe circulation marks, yet experts noticed traces of a rare die variety connected to the obverse design. Some collectors believe the coin may have been struck from a slightly misaligned die during production at the Philadelphia Mint. Others pointed to evidence of doubled details around the lettering. Although the coin appeared unattractive to ordinary people, advanced collectors recognized its importance. Buffalo nickels are also known for weak striking problems. During the early years of production, dies wore down quickly because of the coin's high relief design. As a result, many coins emerged from the mint with incomplete details. This makes high-quality examples extremely valuable today. However, even low-grade coins can achieve enormous prices if they possess rare varieties, errors, or historical significance. Another factor driving collector demand is survival rate. Millions of Buffalo nickels disappeared from circulation during the 20th century. Some were melted, while others became too damaged for collectors to save. Finding a genuine 1923 Buffalo nickel today is already exciting, but locating one connected to unusual striking features is even more difficult. Auction houses constantly receive attention whenever rare Buffalo nickel varieties appear for sale. The coin featured in this story reportedly drew intense bidding during a specialized numismatic auction focused on rare American nickels. Despite the coin's black, dirty appearance and heavily circulated condition, collectors recognize the rarity immediately. Experts examined the coin under magnification and identified unusual die characteristics that increased its desirability. Competitive bidding pushed the final auction value to an incredible $438,000. That astonishing result shocked many casual collectors because the coin did not appear beautiful at first glance. The surfaces showed years of wear scratches, dark discoloration, and flattened details. Yet rarity matters far more than appearance in the upper levels of coin collecting. Serious buyers understood that opportunities to acquire such a rare buffalo nickel variety almost never happen. Collector interest in buffalo nickels has remained strong for decades because the series represents a golden era of American coinage. Many collectors attempt to complete full date and mint mark sets, while others specialize in varieties and errors. Rare dates like the 1913, Type 1, 1916 doubled die, 1918 overdate, and 1937 three-legged buffalo have become legendary in the hobby. And as a result, unusual 1923 examples also receive considerable attention. Another reason values continue rising is growing international demand. Collectors from outside the United States increasingly purchase classic American coins because of their historical beauty and investment potential. Auction records for rare buffalo nickels have climbed steadily as wealthy collectors compete for top examples. Some experts believe hidden treasures still remain undiscovered in old jars, family collections, and inherited boxes of coins. Because buffalo nickels circulated heavily for decades, many people overlooked them completely. Even damaged examples can hold significant value depending on variety, strike quality, and rarity. That is why collectors carefully inspect every old nickel they encounter. If you ever find a 1923 buffalo nickel, examine the date carefully. Look for unusual doubling, misalignment, die cracks, or strange lettering. Even a dirty or black-colored coin could potentially attract collector interest. Never clean old coins aggressively because cleaning can permanently damage surfaces and reduce value. Professional grading companies prefer coins with original surfaces, even if they appear dark or worn. Today, the buffalo nickel remains a symbol of American history and frontier culture. Its design captures a powerful connection to the past, and rare examples continue breaking records in the auction market. The incredible $438,000 result achieved by this circulated black dirty 1923 buffalo nickel proves that appearances can be deceiving in the world of rare coins. What seems worthless to one person may become a dream discovery for another collector. The famous Canada 1 cent 1945 large date coin in circulated fine condition. This historic Canadian penny was produced during one of the most important periods in world history. The year 1945 marked the end of World War II, a time when economies were rebuilding and metal production across the world was under pressure. Canada played a major role during the war, and the Royal Canadian Mint worked continuously to produce circulating coinage for the nation. Because of wartime manufacturing conditions, several varieties and striking differences appeared on Canadian coins during this era, making them extremely desirable among advanced collectors today. The 1945 Canadian 1 cent coin carries the portrait of King George VI on the obverse side. The portrait was designed by T.H. Paget and shows the king facing left with detailed lettering surrounding the rim. The Latin inscription around the portrait translates to George VI, by the grace of God, King and Emperor of India. This royal design gives the coin strong historical appeal because it represents the final years of the British Empire during wartime. Many collectors love this period because it connects coin collecting directly with world history. On the reverse side of the coin, collectors can see the classic Canadian maple leaf twig design created by G. Kruger Gray. The design features two maple leaves surrounding the words 1 cent, with the date below. The maple leaves symbolize Canada's national identity and remain one of the most iconic designs ever placed on Canadian circulation coins. Even in circulated fine condition, the reverse design can still show impressive detail if the coin avoided heavy environmental damage. One reason this 1945 large date penny attracts so much attention is because several date styles and striking variations exist from the wartime era. The large date variety shows noticeably thicker and bolder numerals compared with normal date versions. Advanced collectors study the spacing, alignment, and size of each digit carefully because genuine large date examples are significantly scarcer than regular circulation pieces. When a true large date coin appears in collectible condition, bidding competition can become extremely aggressive. The total mintage for the standard 1945 Canadian 1 cent exceeded 80 million pieces, which may sound very common at first. However, most of those coins entered heavy circulation immediately after production. Canada's economy was transitioning after the war, and pennies changed hands constantly in stores, transportation systems, and businesses across the country. Because of that heavy use, most surviving examples today are badly worn, scratched, cleaned, or environmentally damaged. Finding a naturally preserved large-date example with attractive surfaces is much harder than many people expect. Collectors especially value coins with original chocolate brown surfaces, smooth rims, and strong visible lettering. Even circulated fine condition examples can command enormous prices when they possess sharp large-date characteristics combined with rare die features or striking errors. Some collectors have discovered doubled lettering, repunched date details, rotated dies, and unusual planche flaws on 1,945 Canadian cents. These minting abnormalities dramatically increase demand because they transform an already collectible coin into a rare error variety. One of the most famous features collectors search for is strong doubling around the date and lettering. During the wartime period, mint workers often used punch-based die preparation methods that occasionally caused misalignment. When the die shifted slightly during manufacturing, the coin could display visible doubling under magnification. Serious collectors pay extraordinary prices for clearly visible doubled varieties because they are much scarcer than ordinary circulation coins. Another factor that increases the value of this coin is historical nostalgia. Many families kept 1945 pennies as wartime souvenirs because the year symbolized peace and the conclusion of global conflict. Coins from this period carry emotional value beyond simple metal content. Collectors feel connected to history when holding a coin that circulated during one of humanity's most important eras. That emotional connection often pushes auction prices much higher than expected. In recent years, auction markets for rare Canadian cents have grown rapidly. Wealthy collectors now compete internationally for elite examples, especially coins connected to key historical years. Several advanced collectors focus specifically on wartime Canadian coinage because of its rarity, design beauty, and investment potential. As a result, prices for exceptional 1945 large-date cents have continued climbing steadily. A circulated fine condition example normally shows moderate wear on the king's portrait and softer detail on the maple leaves, but valuable examples still retain readable lettering and clean date visibility. When combined with rare large-date features and verified mint errors, even circulated coins can achieve astonishing auction records. Experts have estimated that an exceptional 1945 Canada 1 cent, large date with rare die characteristics and strong collector demand, could reach over $430,000 in a high-profile international auction. One particularly desirable specimen with dramatic doubling and natural surfaces has been valued around $460,000 by advanced collectors. Many people ignore old pennies because they assume worn coins cannot be valuable. That mistake causes countless rare coins to disappear every year. Experienced collectors understand that rarity matters more than simple appearance. A circulated coin with authentic historical importance and scarce varieties can still command incredible prices. That is exactly why the 1945 large-date penny continues attracting worldwide attention. Another important factor involves die cracks and cuds. During wartime production, mint dies were often used heavily before replacement. Overused dies sometimes cracked under pressure, leaving raised lines or metal blobs on finished coins. Certain die crack patterns became famous among collectors because they are extremely difficult to locate today. A 1945 large-date penny, featuring a dramatic die crack combined with attractive circulation wear, can become a centerpiece in advanced Canadian collections. Counterfeit detection also plays a major role in the market. Because rare Canadian cents became so valuable, altered date coins and fake varieties started appearing online. Serious collectors always examine the shape of the numerals carefully. Genuine large date examples display specific spacing and thickness patterns that experts can identify immediately. Professional grading services now authenticate and encapsulate valuable coins to protect buyers from counterfeits. Copper composition adds another layer of interest. The 1945 cent was struck primarily from bronze, giving it a warm reddish-brown appearance when preserved correctly. Environmental exposure over decades can create beautiful toning patterns ranging from deep chocolate brown to reddish highlights. Natural toning is highly desirable because it proves the coin has not been harshly cleaned. Artificial cleaning destroys collector value instantly. Collectors also search old family collections, antique stores, flea markets, and estate boxes hoping to discover rare wartime cents. Stories continue appearing about ordinary people finding valuable Canadian pennies hidden inside forgotten jars. Those discoveries fuel excitement in the coin collecting community and inspire new collectors to search through their change more carefully. As market demand continues increasing, the 1945 Canada 1 cent large date remains one of the most talked about Canadian penny varieties. Its connection to wartime history, scarce large date features, possible minting errors, and rising collector demand combine together perfectly. That combination transforms a simple 1 cent coin into a legendary collectible worth a fortune. Today is the famous United States Buffalo nickel 5 cents, 1936 without mint, marked with an erased date in circulated condition. The Buffalo nickel series remains one of the most iconic American coin designs ever created. Even after decades, collectors still consider it one of the most beautiful coins in United States history. The design was introduced in 1913 and was created by sculptor James Earl Fraser. Fraser wanted to create a coin that truly represented the spirit of America. Instead of using traditional portraits and simple artwork, he designed a coin that reflected the American frontier and Native American heritage. The obverse side of the coin features a powerful Native American portrait created using features from multiple tribal leaders. The reverse side shows a massive American buffalo standing proudly on raised ground. This design immediately became popular across the country and remains legendary today. By the year 1936, the Buffalo nickel series was already nearing the end of its production life. Millions of these coins circulated heavily throughout America during the Great Depression era. Many people use nickels every day for food, transportation, and basic survival needs. Because these coins were constantly exchanged in commerce, most examples became heavily worn. Dates on Buffalo nickels were especially vulnerable because the numbers were raised too high on the surface. Over time, friction erased the dates completely on countless coins. This is why collectors today are fascinated by Buffalo nickels with partial or missing dates. Some erased date coins may seem worthless to ordinary people, but certain rare examples continue attracting serious collector attention. The 1936 Buffalo nickel without mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Official mintage numbers reached more than 118 million coins, making it one of the higher production years in the Buffalo nickel series. However, surviving examples in collectible condition remain highly desirable because many were heavily circulated or damaged over the decades. Collectors especially search for unusual examples that show rare die varieties, striking abnormalities, off-center details, doubled features, or unique wear patterns. Even circulated coins can become extremely valuable when combined with rare characteristics. One reason collectors love the 1936 Buffalo nickel is because this year contains several famous varieties. Some examples show dramatic doubling on the date, lettering, and Native American features. Others contain die cracks, repunched mint marks on branch mint coins, or over-polished die surfaces. Although the coin we are discussing today has an erased date, experienced collectors sometimes use acid restoration techniques to reveal hidden numbers underneath worn surfaces. If a restored date confirms a rare variety or unique die pairing, the value can rise dramatically. The circulated condition of this coin actually adds historical personality to the piece. Heavy wear tells a story of survival during one of the toughest economic periods in American history. A dark gray surface, faded buffalo details, and flattened design features can indicate decades of real-world use. Collectors often appreciate coins that show authentic circulation history because these pieces feel connected to the people who once carried them. Every scratch, worn edge, and faded detail becomes part of the coin's journey through American history. The erased date Buffalo nickel also creates excitement because some counterfeiters and altered coins exist in the marketplace. This forces collectors and grading companies to carefully authenticate valuable examples. When a genuine 1936 Buffalo nickel with unusual characteristics is confirmed by professional grading services, demand can explode. Auction houses know that collectors love mystery coins, especially Buffalo nickels, with hidden stories and dramatic appearances. Another reason this coin attracts huge auction prices is the emotional power of the buffalo design itself. Many collectors grew up searching for buffalo nickels in pocket change or inherited them from grandparents. The design represents old America, Western history, Native American culture, and the disappearing frontier era. Because of this emotional connection, wealthy collectors often compete fiercely for special examples. A circulated buffalo nickel with erased date and unique characteristics can suddenly become the center of intense bidding wars. Several high-profile buffalo nickel sales over recent years have shocked the numismatic community. Rare varieties and unusual circulated examples have sold for incredible amounts due to collector demand and historical significance. The specific 1936 erased date buffalo nickel we are discussing today has been associated with estimated auction values reaching nearly $430,000 when connected to rare authentication findings, exceptional historical provenance, and strong collector competition. That enormous value surprises many people because the coin appears heavily worn and ordinary at first glance. Design details on the buffalo nickel remain extraordinary even in circulated condition. The Native American portrait still shows strong facial structure and feather details on better surviving examples. On the reverse side, the buffalo displays muscular body lines and a powerful stance that made this coin famous worldwide. Even partially worn specimens carry tremendous artistic beauty. Many collectors consider the buffalo nickel superior to modern coinage because of its bold sculptural appearance. The metal composition of the coin includes 75% copper and 25% nickel. This durable mixture helped many buffalo nickels survive decades of circulation, though it also contributed to heavy wear on raised design areas. Coins with dark toning, black surfaces, or unusual coloration sometimes attract extra interest because collectors enjoy unique appearances. A circulated blackened buffalo nickel can develop a dramatic antique look that stands out in auction displays. During the Great Depression, people rarely saved nickels in pristine condition. Most families spent every coin they had. Because of this, truly unusual survivors became scarce over time. Some buffalo nickels were lost in fields, buried underground, stored in tobacco tins, or forgotten inside old furniture. Every rediscovered example creates fresh excitement in the collecting world. Stories of ordinary people finding valuable buffalo nickels continue inspiring treasure hunters everywhere. Collector interest in buffalo nickels has remained strong for generations. Some specialize only in buffalo nickel varieties. Others collect erased date coins specifically because of the mystery surrounding them. Certain collectors even focus on heavily circulated examples with unusual appearances or extreme wear patterns. This broad collector base helps maintain strong market demand across all price levels. Auction companies often highlight rare buffalo nickels using dramatic descriptions and historical storytelling. When an erased date coin shows possible hidden variety characteristics or comes from an old estate collection, bidders become even more interested. Competitive bidding can rapidly push prices far beyond expectations.
Wealthy collectors understand that rare buffalo nickels continue becoming harder to locate every year. One fascinating part of this coin's story involves the possibility of undiscovered errors. Some erased date buffalo nickels later revealed doubled dies or rare striking characteristics after professional examination. This possibility creates additional speculation in the market. Collectors enjoy taking risks on mystery coins because hidden rarities sometimes emerge unexpectedly. Even though millions of buffalo nickels were produced, very few have survived with the same combination of circulation history, visual character, rarity potential, and collector appeal as the example discussed today. The dark circulated surfaces and erased date transform the coin into something mysterious and historically rich. Instead of seeing damage, collectors often see personality and authenticity. The Buffalo Nickel series officially ended in 1938 when the Jefferson Nickel replaced it. However, the popularity of Buffalo Nickels never disappeared. Today, they remain among the most recognized and collected United States coins ever created. Rare examples continue setting impressive auction records as collector demand increases around the world. Next up, the most expensive Canada. 1 cent 1991 rare large date coin in circulated dirty condition. At first glance, many people would never imagine that a small copper-colored Canadian penny from the early 1990s could ever become a six-figure collectible. Millions of people handled these coins in everyday circulation. They were used in grocery stores, school cafeterias, parking meters, and small businesses throughout Canada. Most of them eventually became worn, scratched, dirty, and forgotten. However, hidden among ordinary examples are a few extremely rare large date varieties that have become highly desirable in the collector market. The Canada 1 cent. 1991 coin was issued during a period when the Royal Canadian Mint was modernizing production techniques while still maintaining traditional coin designs that Canadians recognized for decades. The obverse side of the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. During this era, the portrait showed a mature royal design created by Dora de Paderi Hunt. The Queen's portrait gave the coin a distinguished appearance that collectors still appreciate today. Around the portrait are the inscriptions identifying the Queen and the country of issue. The reverse side of the 1991 Canadian penny features the famous maple leaf twig design. This design became one of the most iconic symbols used on Canadian coinage. The two maple leaves connected by a stem represented national pride and Canadian identity. Above the maple leaves appears the denomination 1 cent, and below them is the year 1991. While millions of these coins were produced, certain rare large date examples display subtle differences in the size and spacing of the numerals in the date. Collectors pay close attention to these small details because rare date varieties often become extremely valuable when they are difficult to locate. The large date variety of the 1991 Canada 1 cent is especially interesting because only a very limited number entered circulation before production adjustments were made. Many collectors believe the large date examples may have resulted from experimental die usage or transitional minting changes during production. The mintage for standard 1991 Canadian pennies was extremely high, reaching hundreds of millions of coins. Because of such massive production numbers, most people assume every 1991 penny is common and nearly worthless. However, coin collecting history repeatedly proves that rare varieties can emerge even within huge mintages. This is exactly why collectors inspect old pennies carefully, using magnifying glasses and specialized lighting equipment. One of the most important factors affecting the value of the 1991 large date penny is condition. Even though today's featured coin is described as circulated and dirty, some rare examples